What's going on, Los Angeles? How we doing, LAFB fam? It's the Madman. As promised, we got part 2 of our epic June of recruiting here for the UCLA Bruins. As mentioned, the Madman here, still in Europe, vacationing with the family. I'm here. It's close to midnight. I'm at the hotel gym. It's the only place where I could get a little bit of quiet and some sense of lighting. Although I got to be honest with you, these lights are hot right now. I feel like I'm in an interrogation room, but at least it's quiet and we get an opportunity to chat with you, our beloved fans, and the individuals that we appreciate so much. As always, I'm the Madman and so honored to be here. And as I mentioned in part 1 of our segment, me and the Thrill are both going to be back stateside next week after a several week of travels. And we're going to get the band back together next week and uncover all of this as we do in a dynamic duo fashion, and also pull in the likes of Wayne Cook to get his thoughts on this frenzy, this bonanza, this flurry of activity for UCLA here in June. So much that's going on that I had to split this segment into 2 parts, and we're going further back now. Really, the first 7 commits of this particular month that made up this collection of 14 of the 22 commitments for the class of 2026 happening in the last 30 days. Really a remarkable gist of activity here from DeShaun Foster and company. Again, re-emphasizing this idea that he really wanted to focus on operationalizing the strategy for 2025 the first few months here of this calendar year. And now the focus has shifted. Now that he feels a sense of stability of what the game plan is going to be for this 2025 season from an execution perspective, now he's really getting in to 2026 in terms of recruiting and building that pipeline. So let's break it down in terms of all of the 7 recruits here and the commits. The first really exciting prospect, Cooper Javorski, 6'4", 280 pounds, interior offensive lineman from San Juan Capistrano, California, 93rd ranked player in the state of California. This is a kid that I think is going to be significant to building that pipeline of trench play for UCLA in the offensive line category for years to come. As you know, the Big Ten is a conference that's really built inside out. It's predicated on running the ball, chewing the clock, controlling the line of scrimmage, controlling the number of possessions, and really imposing your style of play on the opposition. And Cooper Javorski, I think, is that ideal individual to sort of come in there. 6'4", 280, he's still got some growing to do. But what I really love is his technique. And the technique actually comes from his days as a wrestler. This is a preeminent high school wrestler, and he's actually part of what is called the 1,000 weight room club, where his bench, his squat, and his power clean combined add up to over 1,000 pounds. So this kid benches 350 pounds, he squats 425 pounds, and he power cleans 295 pounds. So you understand where the lower body strength is. You understand the technique in terms of use of hands. Now it's just going to be a matter of him getting more and more comfortable at a Division I level, really kind of growing into his body as part of really a strength and conditioning and nutrition program. So he's a project, but so much upside there, so much so that even at the state that he's in as a little bit raw, he was offered by the likes of Auburn, which has been an SEC power for several years in the past and presumably for years to come. So really excited about Cooper Javorski there, picking UCLA over the likes of Auburn. After Javorski, we got Logan Hirau, a safety, Santa Margarita, California, another local kid, 6'1", 185 pounds at the safety position, 97th ranked player in the state of California. This kid really jumps off in terms of film for his cerebral aspect and his ability to sort of read offenses, be able to see the field, and really potentially be sort of a captain and a leader of that secondary. You know, we talk so much about, you know, that safety position, either free safety, strong safety. One of those two really needs to step up as being the captain of that back end. We had it with Stephen Blaylock for a number of years. We thought we were going to have it with Kamari Ramsey before he went to other pastures. Logan Hirau was sort of built in that mold of that cerebral player that really understands offensive formations and can really sort of have his head on a swivel, guide other individuals to be in the right spaces, and really be a leader in that particular regard. And it's no coincidence that he was recruited by just about everyone in the Ivy League. He was recruited by Stanford. Really a lot of cerebral institutions for what he brings, not just from a physical standpoint, but from a leadership ability as well. After Logan Hira, we've got a couple cornerback prospects from Rancho Cucamonga, California. The first is Joshua Mensah, who's 6 feet even, 165 pounds, 109th ranked player in the state of California. He's technically an athlete, but you feel like he's going to really slot into that cornerback position. And someone, again, I think, who knows how to play the position, really good in bump and run coverage, really good with his hands, knows how to sort of get into receivers, really competitive as hell. I think he's going to line up really more from that cornerback position, recruited by the likes of Georgia Tech, North Carolina, Arizona, BYU, some really quality programs. I think he's going to come in 26 and really vie to be a rotational piece, along with his teammate from Rancho Cucamonga, cornerback Justin Lewis, 6'2", 165 pounds. This kid probably has more upside. He's more athletic, longer wingspan, ability to deflect passes, really get into passing lanes, and really sort of alter and disrupt trajectories of throws as well, both at an initial, secondary, and tertiary level. Justin Lewis is, I think the upside is very much there, a diamond in the rough, so much so recruited by Colorado and Dion. You know Dion understands what cornerbacks are. Recruited by Miami and recruited also by SMU that just made the college football playoff. All three of those teams significant when it comes to cornerback play, really at an elite level. And when you talk about SMU, you're talking about a team that made the college football playoff. And then we've got Ramzak Fruean, linebacker prospect, 6'4", 215 pounds, from Bethel High School in Spanaway, Washington. Really like him as sort of high motor guy, really kind of end to end. Can he sort of grow into the ilk of a Darius Muasau? Can he grow into the ilk of one of these sideline to sideline type of linebackers? That's really his style when you look at him on tape. And I think there's a ton of upside there. 6'4", 215. Also built a little bit like Eric Kendricks was at this particular stage. Very high praise, long way to go there, but a lot to like with Fruan. Also recruited by Arizona State as well as Washington. So some high quality programs here. Arizona State, of course, made it to the college football playoff. And again, a Spanaway, Washington, hometown kid turning down Jed Fish to go to DeShaun Foster and UCLA is absolutely significant. And then the last two, in many ways, the first two, because these were the first two commits of the month of June, and probably the two most significant in terms of position, in terms of rating, in terms of symbolism, and what they represent moving forward. The first is Micah Smith, interior offensive line prospect from Vero Beach, Florida, 4-star. So this is one of UCLA's 3 4-stars as part of this class. 6'5.5", 325 pounds, interior offensive lineman, absolute specimen of a human being, and someone that you can foresee being an anchor and a stalwart of UCLA's offensive line for 3 years, and someone that can really anchor the interior of that offensive line and start building UCLA inside the trenches as a power team within arguably the most power conference in all of college football. Micah Smith had offers from Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee, Florida, you name it. The who's who of college football was recruiting Micah Smith, gave him offers, and he picked UCLA from the state of Florida to come all the way across country because he sees what DeShaun Foster is building, and he wants to be at the forefront. He wants to be that linchpin. He wants to be that super node to build this program moving forward. And we're just so excited about Micah Smith having the vision and the heart and the hunger and the desire and the ambition and the fire to start something and not just be great elite prospect number 37 at one of these other schools, but really pave the way and build something meaningful here at UCLA. And he sees what DeShaun is selling, and he's all in. And so the symbolism, the meaning of that in so many ways has been a domino effect of what has happened later on in this particular month. And then, of course, the other anchor, Johnny Jones, offensive tackle prospect, 6'6", 305 pounds, the 18th best player in the state of Florida. Micah Smith was the 23rd best player in the state of Florida. Johnny Jones, the 18th best player in the state of Florida, also recruited heavily by the likes of Florida, by the likes of Penn State. Absolutely elite institutions here picking UCLA. And so Johnny Jones and Micah Smith together, both picking UCLA as elite offensive line prospects, one at the tackle position, one at the interior offensive line, has now led to a domino effect that's taking place in the state of Florida, while at the same time DeShaun is protecting what's going on in California and really turning UCLA into a national brand. So Johnny Jones and Micah Smith, in many ways, were the domino pieces to really kick off this flurry in June. And like I mentioned in part one, we're in a situation where this is a new age of college football. Guys seemingly make up their minds and change their minds on, the drop of a hat, on the flip of a coin, on any given turn. So are UCLA going to be able to keep all 22 of these kids from now until signing day? Maybe, maybe not. But the reality is, even if you're able to keep 85% of these kids, build those relationships now, you're going to get other kids, even if these kids, some of them back off. You don't want anyone to back off. You want all of them. But just kind of speaking to the nature of the sport, if some kind of fall away and you're bringing new kids in, you're again talking about a class now. We're still only in June, long way to go. You're at 22 commits. You're probably looking at a class that's going to be 30, perhaps even north of 30, and a class that's significantly going to anchor here in the top 15 moving forward. And Foster is now taking on the lineage of Mora, of Neuheisel, of Donahue, of Toledo, as some great recruiters here at UCLA, and we're just so excited about it. Remember this, folks. 3, 4, 5 years from now, if UCLA football becomes what we believe it can and will become, as really a dark horse dominant figure every 2-3 years in the West Coast of this sport and threatening for Big Ten championships every 2-3-4 years, we are going to look back on June 2025 as that moment where things change in a very significant way with this recruiting pipeline. And these guys coming and believing, and their ability to execute and commit and stay committed and locked into UCLA, coupled with this 2025 team now making a jump, going from 5-7 to perhaps 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins this particular year. Now you're giving DeShaun the ammo, both on the field, and you're giving him the resources, the pitch, the brand off the field to be an absolutely dynamic duo in terms of that regard. And the fact of the matter is, this is going to be the last year of a 12-team college football playoff. We're headed to 14. I think we're probably headed to 16 starting in 2026. That window now gets wider and wider to get into the dance. And once you get into the dance, anything can happen. This whole system, in a sense, is really ideally set up for UCLA football to be extremely successful moving forward. And we're just so excited about it. As always, friends, be loud, be proud, Bruins. Will and I can't get together again next week. He's probably going to do some stuff individually as well, get his perspective on this, and then we're going to bring the band back together. We're going to get Wayne back involved next week, and excited to break it down with you as, hey, look, next week, we're now in the first week of July. It's just August, folks. That's it. And then football kicks off in a loud, elaborate way. Once again, the 2025 season is upon us, folks. And there isn't any more momentum right now than what's going on at UCLA. National outlets are noticing. You're seeing articles of UCLA really dominating this offseason. You're seeing them being talked about outside of Los Angeles, outside of California, really at a national level of saying, hey, what's really going on at UCLA here? DeShaun Foster is making some things happen. It's a lot of 3-star kids, some 4-star kids, but everybody's noticing now that the people want to come to UCLA. We're just so excited about it. And folks, as always, 4's up forever. Madman will see you stateside next week.